Good evening, good evening. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to a new weekly Wednesday webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much to all the attendees for being here. If you want to share the presentation or if you want to share the link, please make sure you tell everyone that's interested. They're still on time. We're gonna start about maybe 6:04 Eastern time, 6:05 the latest. So you still got 5 times to let them know. So please make sure that you share the link, spread the well, and of course, they can learn something new with the United States Senate Federal Credit Union. My name is Eddie Villanueva. Good evening again. Thank you so much for all of those that are joining us. We appreciate your support, and we hope that you're having an amazing day. Here in the DMV area, it's very sunny, but very, very cold. So we went from 80 degrees to now 60 to 40s, you name it, the weather has been all over the place. But one thing that's for sure is that all our attendees have been very consistent. So thank you so much. Don't be like the weather and being consistent, be very consistent. So once again, we appreciate each one of you. I see a lot of new names on the attendee list. So welcome to each one of you if this is your first time. And I see a lot of names that are very familiar as well. So welcome to you as well, and we appreciate your support. And as usual, you see all the panelists team over here. We're ready to interact with you. So if you want to talk to us, if you want to send us your questions, please make sure that you use the chat feature or the Q&A. And Miss Carrie Lazar, what is the commitment for every question that we get this evening?
We will answer them all.
All right, you heard it from the expert. We're going to answer all of them. And then, as you can see, we have a new background. Each of the panelists is, using the background for the first time. Give us a thumbs up if you like it. If you have any suggestions, please let us know as well. We like to be open-minded and hear what the attendees like. So if you like the background, give us a thumbs up, give us a smiley face. All right, I got a thumbs up. Perfect. And once again, Carrie was saying, please, we want to make sure that this is interactive. We want to answer all of your questions. Sometimes Mr. Stan, and I see that he's one of the attendees this evening. Mr. Stan, welcome to you as well. Sometimes he comes on mute and he shares experiences in regards to the topic that we're going over. So if somebody wants to come on mute this evening, just send us a private message and we will make that happen for you. And as you can see, the topic, we cannot forget the topic, is scam proofing your life. Practice ways to protect your finances. As we know, scammers get very, tactical with what they do. They come with different strategies. But here at the United States Senate Federal Credit Union, we take security serious. And that's the reason why we have these webinars, so you can be ahead of the game and protect yourself. All right, JT, Jarnika, they give me 2 minutes. I went over a minute, so I apologize about that. So I want to pass it on to my colleague, somebody that we work with very close together, and I'm always learning something new because of her, whether it's about the credit union, whether it's about life, she always has some great knowledge to share with me. So Ms. Jarnika Trent, it's time for you to do the intros.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Eddie. Thank you for being so amazing as always. And welcome everyone. Like Eddie said, we're going to make sure that we take good care of you guys today with some good information. I have the pleasure today of being Milton, who, this is a hard job. So I'm going to try my best to do introductions today. I want to first recognize our amazing marketing team. None of this would be possible without Carrie. She is literally the one who puts all of this amazing work together for you guys. So I want to give a special shout out to Carrie. Thank you so much for all that you do. She's been super busy behind the scenes. So, it's always a privilege to be able to get in front of her and make sure that we can put this on for you guys every Wednesday. So thank you, Carrie, for all that you do. Andrea, who's also there with marketing, she's going to take good care of you guys. I'm also going to assist her with any questions that you guys may have at the end. Like Eddie said, come off mute if you guys are interested. Use the chat. We would love to hear from you guys and see what you guys have to say about this amazing topic. It's definitely something that is a hot topic that we want to make sure we cover for you guys. And Eddie, he's our go-to guy, the face of the credit union. You guys know him. Everyone knows him everywhere we go. He's probably the most popular human at the credit union. So thank you, Eddie, for all that you do. Your hard work doesn't go unnoticed. And last but not least, the best in class, my fearless leader, Milton. Thank you for all that you do. I'm so excited. He's actually going to be leading the presentation for you guys today. So we're excited to kick this off for you guys and get started. And last but not least, I forgot myself. My name is Jarnika, in case you guys didn't know. And I'm also with membership development, and we're excited to be able to present for you guys today. So with that being said, I'm going to toss the mic over to Milton so we can get this show on the road. All right, you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anika. What an amazing, you know what? I'm going to consider my role going forward. So that was great. I appreciate you doing that. It's still staying on the topic of introductions. We do have a surprise guest with us this evening as well too. You're gonna hear from him towards the end of this presentation, but we are delighted to also have with us this evening our cybersecurity engineer for the United States Central Fraud Credit Union, Mr. Mohammed Hassan. So Mohammed, thank you so much for being with us this evening. We truly appreciate you, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna be hearing from you towards the end of this presentation. But with that being said, I know we have a lot to cover this evening, and most important, thank you all for making time out of your business schedule and being with us today. And like Eddie stated, please make sure that you are using the chat feature or the Q&A section in order to submit your questions, and we will do our best to answer every single question before we let you go tonight. And if we don't have an answer, you better believe we're going to get back to you by tomorrow. Also keep in mind this, the copy of this slide is going to be provided to everyone that registered for this presentation. So if you came in a little late or you need to step out, you will be receiving a copy of the presentation. And lastly, we're also are recording this session as well too. So we're going to be able to have this feature in our library of videos of the recordings that we do every single Wednesday. So with that being said, practical ways to protect your finances. Let's dive into this amazing presentation. For those that have joined us in the past, especially the topics that I like to present, you all know that I always like to come in and provide you with some data. And you may ask yourself, how safe is your identity? Ask yourself that question. And while you ask yourself that question, I want to share some facts here from the Federal Trade Commission. Identity theft, again, and fraud, it's one thing for sure. This is something that affects millions of Americans every year. 12.5 billion has been reported to the FTC in 1 year. And let me repeat that number again. 12.5 billion. I'm not talking about millions. I'm talking about billions that have been reported in 1 year to the Federal Trade Commission. And get this, 6.5 million cases have been also reported. This is going to be the number of individuals that have filed fraud or identity theft to the FTC. And the most alarming number is going to be this one that I'm going to share with you at the bottom. And that is that there is an increase of over 550% in reported fraud losses since 2019. That is insane. This number is truly alarming. And one thing for sure is that, unfortunately, the numbers are going to continue on the rise. And this is the reason why we decided to put this presentation for everyone, for all of our members and future members, to tell you how you can go about protecting yourself, what happens if you fall and become a victim, and all of the resources that you have available to you that perhaps you're not using and taking advantage of. So you see the stats here, and then you may ask yourself, how does this happen, right? How much information does it take for a criminal to come in and do harm to you? So let's start by looking at the most simple pieces of information that a criminal needs. And that is your name and address, your phone number or email, your date of birth, or any details that you share online. As you can see on their own, this information may seem harmless. I think we can all agree that. But what happens is when you combine all of this can easily be used to impersonate you or access your financial accounts. So it is very important that we protect ourselves. And by doing so, you're going to help and reduce the chances of becoming another stats for the FTC. So let's make sure that we do not become another stats. All right. Fraud protection framework. This is what we're going to cover tonight. Number one is how we know how what are some of the ways on how you can protect your identity. Second is how to secure your accounts. Third, how to reduce the scam opportunities, which in my opinion is the most important thing out of all of this. Because if there's one thing that we can all do, and that is to take action to reduce all the potential risks that we can face if you don't take care of these actions. And lastly, keep track of all of the activity that you have going on. So monitor all your financial activity. These are going to be the 4 pieces of information that we're going to cover during this presentation. So let's start with the first one, protecting your identity. Safeguard the personal information connected to your financial life. This is so, so important. The first thing that you want to do, again, when it comes to protecting your identity is identifying some of the few key steps that are so important, such as placing a credit freeze, protecting your banking history, securing key government identity accounts, which are very, very important. Many of these protections, believe it or not, are free and easy to set up. So with that being said, let's dive in and look into each one of these 3 items that we're talking here into more in details. So the first thing that we want to talk about here is placing a freeze on your credit. Do you know that adding a credit freeze is going to help you prevent any new credit accounts from being opened on behalf of your name? And most important, placing a freeze is free. It is completely free. There is no cost. You don't have to enroll and pay for any services to any third-party company that will help you monitor your credit and do all these things, keep track of everything that you do, and have a monthly subscription fees or whatever the case that might be. Placing a credit freeze is the most and easiest thing that anyone can do. And if you ask me, 99% of the members that I come across and that I talk to, and especially those that have been victims of identity theft or any fraud, this is my first question that I have for them. Is your credit frozen? And you'd be surprised the number of people that aren't even aware of this particular feature that is available to anyone. And it is so easy to do. Now, I will say that if you need to place a credit freeze, you will do so, but you have to reach out and contact each of the credit bureaus. As you see here on this slide, we have all of the 3 of them listed, one of them being Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. So if you had never logged into any of these accounts, any of these bureaus, I'm sorry, the first thing that you want to do is you want to go ahead and create an account with them. Again, this is free. You don't have to pay. They do offer services, pay services that you can sign up for, but in order to place a credit freeze, it is completely free. You no need to subscribe to any of the other services that they provide, and which they do have. But again, to accomplish this particular goal here, which is placing a credit freeze, there's no cost to it. So you will simply log into each of the 3 credit bureaus, go in, set up your profile, and under your profile, you will be able to see an option there that says freeze my credits. Once you do that, you can set a permanent freeze, which is what we always recommend, and just leave it there. And you do that with all the 3 credit bureaus. If at any point you decide that you need to apply for any loan, whether it's a simple credit card, car loan, mortgage, you name it, any type of credit that you need to apply for, you can simply go into the three credit bureaus and place a temporary lift. You will set the date and time, from what day to what day do you want the credit to be lifted. And after you're done with with the loan that you're pursuing, then the freeze, I'm sorry, will be placed back into your file. So that way you won't be at risk of anyone trying to go in and open any accounts under your name, any credit accounts. Let me be very specific, any credit accounts under your name. And also, if for some reason you are notified that your information has been exposed, you can also set a credit fraud alert into all the three credit bureaus as well too. And again, that is something that anyone can do, and it is completely free. And let me repeat myself on what I just stated. So if at any point you need to have that lift, you can do so, and you can either do a temporary lift, which is what we always recommend, or you can do a permanent, which I wouldn't recommend to anyone. If you're placing the credit freeze at any point, you might as well keep it in there. Unless you know that you're going to be shopping for something, then again, as I stated at the beginning, then you can go ahead and place a lift that will be temporarily. And get this, the moment that you submit the lift to be the freeze to be lifted, I'm sorry, it goes in effect right away. So you don't have to wait days, you don't have to wait hours. The moment that you hit submit, that moment you can reach out to the lender, and the lender can go ahead now and pull your credit, and they will be able to obtain a copy of your credit right there on the spot. Also, something else that I do wanted to add, I've been in this industry for going into my 18th year now, and you'd be surprised that most lenders don't use all the three credit bureaus. Most of them will probably only use one or two. So if that is the case, if you know that you're going to be applying for any particular loans, ask the lender, hey, who do you guys pull for your credit? And they will be able to tell you pretty easy. If you reach out to us, I will tell you right now that we always use Experian. In some cases, if the information it's something that we need to verify additional, and it's something that is not showing up on the Experian report, then we may ask you to unfreeze Equifax and perhaps as a backup. But as I stated, most financial institutions, they would only pull from one of the credit bureaus. And so you don't need to lift any of the freezes, whether it's temporarily or permanent, for all the three of them if you are going to be in the market shopping around. With that being said, and staying in the topic of freezing your credit reports, let's also talk about ChexSystem. Did you know that ChexSystem is the system that 99% of the financial institutions use anytime you go and apply to become either a member or establish an account at any financial institution? So think of it as the previous three bureaus that I just told you all. TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. So ChexSystem is the system that all financial institutions use to run a report and see your history with all of the accounts. This is where it pretty much paints the picture for the financial institutions and tells you what kind of history do you have, whether it is positive history or negative history. Anything will be reported into ChexSystem. So adding a security freeze here, it's going to help you to prevent from anyone trying to open any accounts under your name, right? I mean, this is one thing that I'm pretty sure that a lot of people may not be aware of, but it is so important that you do place a freeze on your ChexSystem. This is, again, it's just another layer of security that you want to protect yourself, and you rather be proactive than fall and become a victim, and you wonder, why didn't I freeze my ChexSystem? Because I will tell you, us being in this industry, we come across a lot of applications, and oftentimes, I'm not saying that it happens all the times, but from time to time, we do come across fraudulent applications that come in, or people that have stolen identities. And here we have to run ChexSystem, and If it's lifted, we can proceed to the next steps to try to open and establish an account. But if you have your check system frozen, then guess what? That person won't be able to proceed and move forward with establishing an account at any financial institution. So again, it's important that you do this step, and it's again, and let me just make sure that I add a lot of emphasis to this. Doing this step is completely free. All you have to do to place a freeze is go to the website, which is checksystems.com, and create your profile again, just like you do with the credit bureaus. And once you have your profile, you will be able to see that option under your profile to place a freeze on your check system. And if, again, just like the credit, if at any point you need to open and establish a new banking relationship with a new financial institutions, then you can simply go in and do a temporary lift. Easy as that. And now you are protected. And don't forget, again, as I stated, this protection is free and it can be lifted at any time if needed. So let me know in the chat if you are using any of these two recommendations that we just made. One, freezing your credit, and two, freezing your check system reports, which is the one system that 99% of the financial institutions use to establish a new checking or savings account. Moving on, let's talk about creating government accounts before these scammers do. You'd be surprised that many of the identity theft cases happen because criminals create the account before you do. So they're a step ahead of you. And you'd be surprised of the number of cases that we come across from time to time. If you haven't done so, these government entities that you see right in front of your screen are the most popular ones and the ones that criminals really go after. And you will, I'm pretty sure you can tell why, right? So let's talk a little bit about the IRS. The IRS, Internal Revenue Services, this is for your taxes. This is where you review all your tax records, and you can request an identity protection PIN. That is very important once you create your account online. And to do that, simply go to the IRS website. So irs.gov/account. Create your account, set up a PIN number, and make sure that you opt in for the double factor authentication, which is very important. And we know that once you get into here, and it's very important that you keep all that information secure, because if you happen to be the criminal and you have your account, but somehow they get access to this, they can easily try to do fraud, pretty much do fraud on your behalf, such as filing your taxes without your knowledge. Don't want that to happen. And so again, it is important that you do create an account, you set up your identity protection PIN number with the IRS to be better protected. The other one is also going to be the Social Security Administration. You want to make sure that you should secure access to your Social Security record, and always look and see if there's any errors in there that you need to report. Also for this one, you go to their website for the Social Security Administration, the ssa.gov/my account, and there you will be able to log in. You can see your statements for your Social Security. You can play with the numbers and see, how much do I need to work in order to have a specific amount that I want to receive for my retirement and all of that. You can also file for claims, you name it. You can do all of that once you create your account. But what happens if the criminal beats you to it? Then believe me, it's going to be a nightmare for you. So you don't want to do that. If there's one thing that you want, you can take away from this presentation tonight, it's to do three things. One, freeze your credit. Two, freeze your check system. And three, most important, create your government accounts. And all of this that I just told you is completely free. There's no cost. You won't have to pay for anything. All of these services are completely free. So please make sure that you are protecting yourself. And these are three most of the easiest way on how you can do so without having to worry, or most important, pay for any subscription that you will probably come across. All right. Now that we talked about the credit freezes, check systems, and creating your government accounts, let's talk about what are some of the steps that we can do to secure your accounts, right? Remember, strength protection around your financial and online account is so important. And here we'll tell you why. So the first thing that you want to do to protect your account, and that is going to be these three things that you see on the screen. Number one thing is using strong and unique passwords. Two, enabling multi-factor authentication. And lastly, protecting access to your mobile phone number. This simple security practices can significantly reduce the risk of any unauthorized access that you may come across. So let's look at an example of what we mean when we say use strong and unique password. Get this, weak or reused passwords makes it easier for the criminal to access your account. As you can see here, we have two examples of what a weak password may look like and what's something that could be pretty strong. But before I go into these two examples, examples that we have here, I can tell you that oftentimes people will use the word password as their password, believe it or not, and that is the biggest mistake that anyone can make. So what does a weak password look like? So a weak password would be something like you see here, like summer 2024. And that's it. No special characters. It's a short password. And this will be something for any criminal. Probably will take less than 2 minutes to guess it for you and then get into your accounts. So what do you want to do? Definitely recommend using strong passphrase instead of a short and sweet password. So if you like the summer so much, why not put in perhaps something that you did in the summer, such as what you see here on this example, summer picnic at the lake. As you see, it doesn't have numbers, but that's fine. But it is a long passphrase that you're using with capital letters in between. That will create something that will be a little hard for a criminal to guess. Um, so reducing the risk again, as we stated, is by using long passwords or passphrases that you will remember. And second, and the one that I will recommend for everyone to do here on this webinar, and that is to make sure that you use a different password for each of your accounts. I know this will probably be the biggest pain, but trust me, if you have the same password for all of your accounts, what happens once one of your accounts gets compromised, then all of your accounts will also become compromised by simply guessing the same password for all of your accounts. And I know, as I stated, because I can add myself to this list, I used to have one master password that I would use for all of my accounts, but once my information got hacked, I learned my lesson and I never did that. And if you think that keeping up with many passwords is hard, well, guess what? There's help. Perhaps consider using a password manager to store your passwords securely. That would be something that we will highly recommend. And there are a lot of companies out there that will provide this type of services. I don't want to give up any names here, but I'm pretty sure you can simply do a Google search of password manager companies, and you can look at the reviews. You can see what are some of the features that they have. But again, if you use a password manager, especially if you have many accounts, like I do, believe it or not, oftentimes I have more than 10 accounts that I need to remember the passwords for. But when I took advantage of a benefit that we have here as an employee of the credit union, we use a company that allows us to use a password manager for free for myself and also my household. And believe it or not, I have my family enrolled into that services, and it truly, truly gives me the additional peace of mind that I need, because I know how much headaches it will come if any of my passwords gets into the wrong hands. So again, in a recap, try to use long passwords. Make sure that you're not using the same password. And lastly, if you have too many passwords, make sure that you're using some of the resources that they are available online. And by having a password manager, that will solve a lot of these headaches for you in terms of trying to remember every single password that you have established out there. The other thing that we want to touch on, and that's going to be enabling the multi-factor authentication. This is so important. Even if someone knows your password, again, somebody gets a hold of your password, but if you have enabled a multi-factor authentication, they still need to go to the second step. What are some of the things that you will see when you sign up for multi-factor authentication? Well, it's simple as requesting a code to be sent to your phone, or if you use biometric, such as fingerprints or face recognition, that could be another way to authenticate through an app. And lastly, a device prompt or security key that can be used to protect your account as a second layer. So again, this is highly recommended that you do so. So if you haven't opted in for the multi-factor authentication, what are you waiting for? Don't wait. This is so important, and everyone should enable that additional layer of security. Even if you have signed up for the password manager, trust me, trust no one, and that's it. But having the second layer of protection will give you that peace of mind that you need, especially in this day and age. It's so important to do so. Now, let's talk about protecting access to your mobile phone number. We all know that phone numbers is used for account verification and password resets. So what can you do to protect yourself? Well, the most important thing that you want to do is reach out to your phone provider. Make sure that you add a PIN to your account. So if somebody calls and they pretend to be you, they will need to guess that PIN. So make sure that you are setting the PIN number. Also enabling the port out or SIM transfer protection. That's something that everyone should do. I know, and mostly this will apply to older phones because they still use SIM cards. I know most of the new phones now are actually switching over to the eSIMs. But if you still have an older phone that uses the traditional old SIM card, make sure that you do set a protection to that, because if somebody gets a hold of your SIM card, they can easily plug it into any of the phone, and boom, all your information is now transferred. And lastly, use an authentication app when available. This is very important. I know I myself, my phone carrier, every time I reach out to them, I go through two different layers of protection whenever my account is being accessed. One is voice recognition that I set up, and two, they had to send me a code in order to grant access into my account. If any of those two are met, then they will not allow and provide any information to anyone that is pretending to be myself on the other end. So again, make sure that you do this because it is so important. If the criminal gets a hold and gets access to your phone accounts, they can do a lot of harm to you. So again, always be on high alert. Now that we talked about that, let's move into the ways on how you can reduce these scam opportunities. So limit how often scammers can reach you or make you a target. What are some of the things that you can do? Here are the 3 things that we recommend for everyone to do. The first one is get on the do not call registry. This is so easy and it's so simple. Next is enabling the spam filtering on your phone. And lastly, limiting information available about you online, which is so important. So with that being said, let's dive into each one of these 3 sections that you see here. The first one is that do not call list. Do you know that once you register your number with the National Do Not Call Registry, the number is going to be there and it's going to be permanent? The moment that you register your phone, that's it. You don't have to do anything else. Now, if at any point in time you want to remove it for X or Y, Z purposes, you may do so. But do you really want to do that? You can add your home, you can add your mobile. Even if you own a business, you can add your business line number to that do not call. And how do you do that? Again, simply by going to that do not call.gov website and add your number to that list. Most important, this is completely free. And as I stated at the beginning, your number is going to stay there in the registry permanently. If at any point you want to remove it, again, you may do so. What this is going to do to you, this is 100% is going to reduce the telemarketing calls, and any of those scam calls are going to be a lot easier to recognize, because if you start seeing any telemarketing and you're like, wait a minute, I already added my number to that do not call list. Why am I still getting telemarketing? Then that will be the first red flag that it will be easy for you to recognize, because all the companies that do telemarketing, they need to go and check the list. If they don't, they can get in trouble. But guess who won't check the list? And that's going to be the scammers. So if you're getting telemarketing again, most likely that is going to be somebody trying to scam you, and be on alert. Another thing that you can do on this website as well, you can also report any unwanted calls through the registers. You can actually put in the phone number there that you don't want to receive calls from. So it's very important that you take advantage of this feature. And most important, it's completely free. You don't have to pay anything. The next one here, and one that I am actually a big fan of this particular feature here, and that is to filter unknown calls. So did you know that your phone and mobile provider, they offer these tools to reduce any unwanted call and messages? How do you do that? It's pretty easy. Um, you can reduce any unwanted contact by simply enabling the spam call filtering on your phone settings. I'm pretty sure that the majority of people now have a smartphone. And with smartphones, you can go into your phone settings and you can actually set up enabling any spam calls. You can add those filters. It's completely free. The other thing too that you can do is using your mobile carrier's spam protection tools. I am a big fan of this one. I have enrolled for that, and anytime I get a spam call, it will show up on my caller ID and it will say spam, or the blocking any of the suspicious numbers. So if you're getting calls from one particular number and it keeps calling you and calling you and calling you, and you have no idea who they are, um, you can go ahead and do that. You can simply click on the number, go to the settings, and block any future calls from that number. And lastly, limiting calls to known contacts. This is something that I do, and it's actually part of the call filtering for myself. The way how I have it set up on my phone is, anyone that is on my contact list, they will be able to call me. They will go through as a normal call. But if for some reason I get a phone call from a number that is not on my contacts, then guess what happens? The caller will be prompted to say their name and the reason of the call. Once they say that, then I will receive a message on my phone saying such and such and call it is calling you, and the reason for the call is X. Now it's up to me whether I want to, one, accept the call or decline it. This is something that I completely love, and it's such an amazing feature that I discovered recently, actually not that too long ago, and that I have been using it ever since. And I have my whole family actually on that now as well. And most important, it's completely free. I don't have to pay for that feature. Setting up that option, it truly is amazing, because now I know that if I get anyone that is trying to sell me something, they have to state the reason as to why they're calling me, unless they are already on my contact list. If they're already on my contact list, then the call would just come and ring right through my phone without any issue. So again, this is very important and something that I will highly recommend for everyone to opt in for in order to protect yourself from getting any of those unwanted calls that, I'm pretty sure everybody here gets those calls. So find ways to protect yourself. All right. Moving on, let's talk a little bit about how to reduce your online footprint. Did you know that some of your personal information may appear in search results or in public websites? You have the right, and you may be able again to request for that information to be removed. I think we all know that the biggest search engine out there is Google. So we have the website here that you want to reach to visit and request for your personal information to be removed. And I'm pretty sure here, more than one person on this call has probably Googled their name. Go ahead and whenever you get free time, go to Google, type in your name and see what pops up. If you see that there's any personal information related to you, go to this website here, that's support.google.com/websearch/answer/12719-076, and visit that link and then go ahead and submit a request for your information to be removed. Other websites that are pretty popular that will probably contain your personal information it's going to be the ones you see listed here. So the whitepages.com, Spokeo.com, or truepeoplesearch.com. And don't forget, reducing publicly available information can make it harder for scammers to target you. So it's important to know what's out there, especially if you are using a browser, and then you come across your name and you're like, I don't know if I want this information to be out there. You can simply file a request for that information to be removed. And again, this is free too, so you don't have to pay to have your information removed. It's your personal information, and you're just requesting that to be removed. Moving on, let's talk a little bit about limiting personal information on social media. We all know social media has become the new norm, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure that just 9 out of 10 adults or people in general, because I know even kids have social media accounts, they all have one, or in some cases, even 5 or more on social media accounts. And you may wonder, what are the risks of having a social media account? But most important, how can this impact me and perhaps make me fall and become a victim of identity theft or fraud? Some of the things that you want to consider is, and this is for everyone, set up your profile, go to your settings and switch your profile to become private. Only accept friend requests from people that you truly know. Limit any personal details in your profile. I know it's oftentimes I go into social media and then I will click on a friend's profile and I come across everything. I can see their birthdays, I can see their hometowns, where they went to school. I mean, there's a lot of information that can easily in the wrong hands be used and do harm on those individuals. So make sure that you limit any personal details in your profile that you have there. Also, avoid any real-time location sharing. That is something that it's, believe it or not, some people either they don't know or perhaps have no idea that their location sharing is on, and people can see where their true location is at any point by simply clicking on their profile, and they can see where those people are connected from. So don't do that. Make sure that you avoid any real-time location sharing. And lastly, and I know this is going to be another pain, but make sure that you review any of the app permissions that you allow your social media accounts. It is so important. Oftentimes, a lot of these companies will sell your data to other companies, or perhaps use your information as marketing content and whatnot. You have no idea. So make sure that you review any of the permissions that you are granting whenever you are creating any of your social media accounts. And don't forget that Being intentional about what you share helps reduce the risk of becoming another stat for the FTC. So important to keep this in mind, and truly don't share a lot of personal information on social media, because again, if it falls in the wrong hands, that could be really become a headache for you down the road. All right, moving on. We're coming here towards the end of the presentation. So we talked about, this different things that you should be on the lookout for. But now, what happens if for some reason you have become a victim now? And what are some of the things that you can do to see if that's happened, right? We want you to always stay aware of any of the changes across any of your accounts, any personal information, and most important, your financial communication that you're receiving. And how do you do that? You may ask. Well, the most important thing here is what you see on this particular slide. There's 4 things that everyone on this on this webinar should do right away. If you aren't doing it, please, today is the day to do so. The first thing that we want everyone to do is to always check your accounts and all the transactions. Look and see if there is anything suspicious in any of your accounts, whether it's your checking, your credit cards, you name it, investment accounts, any accounts that you may have out there. Make sure that you're reviewing them often. Also, reviewing your credit reports. This is very important. You want to make sure that you always know what's going on with your credits. Next, look and see what's on your mail and the deliveries that you're receiving. This is also very important. And lastly, how to check if your information has been exposed. This is going to be very important. So let's dive into all of this, each one by one. So the first thing, again, is to always review and manage your account. If you're a member here with the United States Center for Credit Union, it is a must that you must check your online banking or mobile banking to stay aware of any account activity that's happening, that is going on. You know that once you log in, you can easily see all your recent transactions, any account activity. You can also enable any account alerts and notifications if you want to set up spending limits, or if you want to receive an alert because your card was used for a X dollar amount. You can set those limits right on the spot. So if you want to receive a notification anytime your card was swiped for more than $10, you can go ahead and do that. And believe me, if you swipe your card and it's for more than $10, you will get that notification. So please make sure that you use and take advantage of that feature. Also, speaking of cards, do you know that in your online banking, you can easily manage your debit or credit cards? So what we mean with that, that means that you can lock, unlock, you can report lost or stolen right inside your online banking. All of these tools, again, can help you quickly identify and respond to any suspicious activity if you see anything that comes across that looks unfamiliar. And most important, make sure that you do this with any other accounts that you have out there. So it's not just the United States NFL Credit Union, but any other accounts, any other financial institutions, any investments accounts, you name it. Look for this transaction, look for the statements, review those as often as you can, and see and make sure that nothing suspicious is happening. If it is, take action right away. Don't wait. Act immediately. The faster you respond, the easier it will be for you to solve the whole situation. So we cannot stress how important it is for everyone to take action if you see something suspicious. Going down the list here, the next thing is to always check your credit report. Accessing your credit report, again, for all the 3 credit bureaus is completely free. How you do that? Simply by going to annualcreditreport.com, and some of the things that you can look for is see any of the accounts that are under your name. If you see something there that you don't recognize, you need to take immediate action. Any unfamiliar addresses that might be reporting on your credit report. If you see something there that you lived at a place that you have no idea what that is, then you know what? That's a red flag, and you need to you need to act right away and report that. Also, if you see any inquiries that you didn't authorize, why is this company running my credit? I never authorized it. So if that's the case, you can go ahead and file a dispute immediately and right away and don't wait. It is so important. And again, since after the pandemic, it is now an option that you have that you can actually check your credit report on a daily basis if needed. I'm not recommending for everyone here to check your credit report every single day, but it is recommended that you do so at least once every 6 months. Or if you have a large purchase that's coming up in the near future, you want to make sure that you pull and review your credit report at least 3 months in advance, just so that it gives you enough time. Should you come across something that is unfamiliar or you don't recognize, then you will have at least 3 months to file the dispute and hopefully get everything resolved within 3 months. So again, important to know all of these resources that are available to you. And again, most important, this is completely free. And moving on, let's talk about this one here. This is probably, I believe, and Carrie, correct me if I'm wrong or keep me honest, but I think this is probably the first time that we're telling you about on how you can actually monitor your mail. Did you know that if you sign up for Inform Delivery through USPS, you can actually see an image, you can see a picture of all the mail that has been received by the Postal Services and that is going to be delivered to your house. How do you do that? Again, it's just completely free, and the way you do it is informdelivery.usps.com, and then you will be able to again get a preview of any incoming mail digitally. You can also spot any missing or delayed mail if you live in areas where the mail sometimes takes a little longer than average. You can have an idea as to what's coming to your mailbox. And lastly, you can identify any suspicious financial mail. If you see letters from financial institutions that you have never done any business with, but all of a sudden you see something coming through, and you see it there, but it doesn't get to you. It's somebody intercepting your mail. So again, this particular feature here is amazing. If you haven't enrolled for it, please do so. I highly recommend for you to sign up for this. And again, it is completely free. You don't have to pay. You will receive an email to your inbox and saying, hey, this is the mail that is coming your way. And then you will see everything that is there. And it's very, very easy to set up. And most important, it gives you a snapshot of everything that is coming. So once you get home and you check your mailbox and for some reason you have mail that is missing, then you need to act right away and notify the U.S. Postal Services that your mail is missing. So again, visit informdelivery.usps.com to sign up for free. And lastly, let's talk about this website that is very important. How to check if your data has been breached. This is truly important. Your personal information, again, may be exposed in data breaches. We know this is something that happens often, unfortunately, but you can check if any of your data has been exposed by simply going to this website, haveibeenpwned.com. This is where you want to go. And for those, like I stated at the beginning, we are going to share the copy of this presentation. So if you don't remember the website, don't worry about that. We're going to send you a copy of this presentation. We're just going to have this link here that you can visit and input your information and see if anything, if your name appears or any of your emails or anything shows up, then you want to take action right away. Don't wait. Don't delay, and act immediately. All right. Before we wrap this presentation, we want you to know how to respond again if something seems off. So again, if you notice any unusual activity across any of your accounts, any personal information, the advice that we give to everyone is to act right away, ASAP. Don't wait. Contact your financial institution. change any of your passwords for any accounts that have been affected. Consider placing a fraud alert on your credit file. As I stated, when you place a credit freeze, you have this option to do so. You can also set the fraud alert and make sure that you notify all the three bureaus of that so that you are 100% protected. And lastly, report any identity theft at identitytheft.gov, which is the FTC website where you want to go ahead and do that. And don't forget, quick action can help limit that impact, and it will get you on the right path to get everything resolved. And before we go, I just want to share this last slide here for everyone, and that is that a simple approach to fraud protection. Again, fraud prevention works best when multiple layers of protection work together. So don't forget, protect your identity, secure your accounts, reduce scam opportunities, and lastly, monitor your financial activity regularly. Small steps today can help prevent larger problems down the road. And with that, I'm going to end my presentation, and I thank you all for your time. Really hope that this information was helpful. And now we can go ahead and open it up for any questions we may have. Team?
Wow, amazing job, Milton. That was so awesome. I learned a lot myself, so thank you so much. That was really good. We have a lot of questions. And so with that being said, I'm going to start with the first question. How often should passwords be changed? That's the first part of the question. And is it important to change the IDs? If so, how often should it be changed? And finally, is a CD more safer from cash to be stolen?
Wow, those are a lot of great questions. And as I stated at the beginning, we actually have an expert with us today, and that is our cybersecurity engineer, Mr. Mohammed Hassan. So, Mohammed, if you want to come off mute, sir, and take a stab out of that question.
Guys, can you hear me?
We sure can hear loud.
Yes.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Milton. That was an excellent presentation, and I can't say how proud we are for the knowledge you've given to all of our members. So excellent for that, security culture and enlightening our users. So to answer that question, when you're like using passwords, like Milton said, the best way is to have a password manager. When you have a password manager, you could check if your password is in active security breach or not, or you should change it or not. Password managers have active different options that you could utilize. For example, if a password's not compromised, you don't need to change it if it's a unique individual password for a specific website, like Milton mentioned earlier. What's the next question?
Is it important? It's under the same question. Is it important to change the IDs?
The username, basically.
Yes.
No, you could have the same username. If you have the username, that doesn't, uh, indicate like a vector for compromise, but it's better to always change your password. And when you can, like for example, if you have said application, it gives you an option when storing that password. You could go and look for the password if it's breached or not, and if it is, you should change it ASAP.
Awesome. Thank you, Mohammed. The next question is going to be, how can we prevent SIM card switches? There are many system breaches of private companies, so a lot of our information is already out there. How do we get around this?
That's amazing. That's a really sophisticated question. I might say whoever asked that question obviously knows what's going on right now. It's basically having your ID protected and having multiple layers of security, like that account having a multi-factor authentication enabled on it. So it's just not one point of failure. It needs multiple authenticated ways in which, like for example, I won't take any names, but like, there's Western Union, there's MoneyGram, there's Remitly. So, for example, they send a message to your phone number authenticating before sending the transfer, but they also do location. They also make sure a VPN's not being used. And they also like ask for multiple, like, like IDs. And then after that, they also send you a code on which to confirm, through authenticator applications, that it's really you who's making that transaction. It's not somebody else using your financial information.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Next question. Does the check systems cover all of your bank accounts or just one financial institution?
I'll take that one,
Uh-huh.
Journey, and it covers all the financial institutions. So it's not just one bank or one credit union. It's for all. So yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Um, there appears to be a lot of work by the consumer, but I have free theft protection for the next 2 years because companies, banks, and hospitals have had my data stolen. What is their or your responsibility for protecting data?
Can you go with the
And that,
question again, Jernika? Is that question for me?
yes.
Uh-huh.
Did you want me to state it again, Mohammed?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay. There appears to be a lot of work by the consumer, but I have a free protection theft for the next 2 years because companies, banks, and hospitals have had my data stolen. What is their or your responsibility for protecting data?
Yeah, we've all been like in a sort of multiple like data collecting agencies. When you're interviewing for jobs or something like that, they have their data compromised, or just using like different cellular companies. Like a good question that was asked previously about swapping, right? So multi-factor authentication, number locks, port freeze, you could do as much as you can, right? But for example, if your data is stolen and you're getting 2 years protection, what you could do is just being active about it and just having that documented. So for example, if something does happen or an account is opened on your name that is not like valid, like Milton stated earlier, just checking intermittently, like make a habit of checking weekly, or like once a month. Or once a month is a far-fetched. What I do is I do it every 2 weeks, to be honest, or whenever I get the chance. But it doesn't go beyond 2 weeks, to just make sure that there is not activity happening on your behalf, and creating alerts. Like a lot of these credit boards, uh, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, and whatever they may be out there, have alerts that are sent to your email. You could also use your banking application or your banking provider, like in this case, USSFCU. If there's transactions, you could set up alerts, and it will send you alerts on if transactions made on your behalf. So that could protect you in depth.
Awesome answer. Thank you so much, Mohammed. All right, we're switching gears now to credit freezes. So, when it comes to a credit freeze, can you utilize different email addresses for that?
For credit freezes, yes, you have to use a different email for any freeze. Let me take that back. Is the question related to using the same email for all of the three bureaus, or using the email for multiple individuals?
It doesn't say, it looks like it's for multiple individuals. One email looks like for multiple people.
So if it's for multiple, you have to use one email per individual. But you can use the same email for all the three bureaus for one person, and then obviously use a different email for the next person. So you have to
Okay,
have separate email attached to
for each
every
person.
person. Yes.
Okay, perfect. I have another one pertaining to credit freeze. It says, I placed a credit freeze a long time ago. Are there changes such as an address change that needs to be reported to the credit agency?
No, that's another great question, and the answer to that is no. So remember, freeze, it's only if somebody is trying to obtain a copy of your credit report. So that is the only time when the credit freeze goes in effect and works. But that doesn't mean that if you are, if you're using credit and you are, falling behind, or if you're building your credit and your credit is building and getting better, all of that information still continues to work in the background. So that means that any addresses that you updated, or if you switch employers, oftentimes employers will report your information to the credit bureaus, and all of that will automatically update on the background, even if your credit is frozen or not. So remember, it is important to understand that the credit freeze only works when individuals are applying for credit, and another brand new financial institution needs to obtain a report. If you already have established an account, or you already have established credit with a company, that information will continue to report as usual, as normal, without having a freeze or no freeze. Hopefully that answered that question.
Yes, thank you so much. And you may have answered this one in some way as well. It states, my husband passed last summer. So sorry for your loss. Is it wise to set a freeze on his name in this case?
I will still do it, just to be, protected, because I mean, we've seen cases. I mean, Janika, you probably remember this, during last year, during an influx of applications that we received. There were a few people that were applying here with information for people that were deceased.
Mhm.
Obviously, once you notify Social Security, that the person is deceased, that will be flagged, but you'd be surprised of the things that people will do. So if you can do that, by all means, but obviously you won't be liable for that. But I will highly recommend it, just so that it just stays protected.
I agree. Thank you, Milton. All right, we're still on credit freeze here. Does placing a freeze in check systems affect my regular banking activity?
Absolutely not. Not one bit. It won't have no impact to your banking activity. It's only, again, as I stated, if you are thinking about applying for a new loan. That's the only time that will come in play.
Okay, thank you. So this is pertaining a question to Social Security admin. It states here, can you still create an ID protection account when you log in using login.gov rather than My Social Security?
So in essence, Social Security I know that they have recently transitioned over to login.gov, which is, it's a federal account that you create, which has actually more layers of protection. So if you already have your account through that, and then you can access your Social Security through them, then you're good. You don't have to go ahead and register individually. And most likely what will happen, is that if you go to the website, it probably will link you, or forward you to that website that you just stated. The reason why I say that is because that happened to me. I actually needed to, not long ago, I needed to get my um, global entry for any time I travel outside of the country, and I needed to update my account, and I did it through that website, where I was able to get into all the federal government accounts that I have created under one umbrella, which is pretty great, if you ask me.
Yeah, it sounds convenient too. That's great.
Yes.
All right, this one may be for Mohammed or Milton. Is face recognition reliable technology for darker skinned individuals?
Mohammed, I'll let you take this one.
If like it doesn't matter on your skin tone. Basically, it's your biometrics. Face recognition is, again, like for example, you're using password manager on your iPhone or your Samsung device, Android device. It gives another layer of security. So I would highly recommend, like a face recognition does not discriminate, guys. It is straightforward, and technology is there to help us all.
Awesome. Thank you, Mohammed. Next question is going to be, is it safe to have your resume on your LinkedIn account?
That's a good one. So, that's a smart one actually. So, people that have their resume, it's like an easy apply option on Indeed, LinkedIn, and all the job boards. So it is technically when you have like multi-factor authentication enabled on your like LinkedIn account or Indeed account or any job board account that you have, but be cautious because some jobs are fake. They get your information, your email, your phone number, your address, and the only thing they need is your social security number to just use that as a pivot or a vector to wreak more havoc. So it's like do it with caution and always verify before you trust, and just be very cautious about that. That's a very good question because it can be used even as social engineering. Get that information from you, your experience and work, and then tailor the email, phishing email, as per your profession. So that increases the probability of a click.
Thank you, Mohammed. This one may be for Milton. How does locking your accounts affect automatic withdrawals?
I'm pretty sure that's probably in reference to the check system. That would be my guess.
I think
So
that one came in around the online banking one, or maybe I'm wrong, but I felt like, but go
Towards the
on.
end, yes, 650.
like in your car, perhaps if
Sorry,
you're
the fraud, like what to do if it happens to you, notify your financial institution, and then, locking up your accounts, pausing your card. That one.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
Yeah. So again, so the moment that you freeze your card, you won't be able to conduct any transactions. Obviously, that's the most important thing that will happen. Again, if you feel that your card has been compromised or you lost it or you can't find it, placing that freeze there is going to be very important. So highly recommended. And again, yes, it will have an impact because you won't be able to make withdrawals, usually your debit card. But if you go to in person, if you come to one of our branches, you can still continue to make withdrawals and even set up bill pays or ACH. That's something that you will be able to continue to do unless you feel that your account as a whole has been compromised. So if that's the case, then again, let us know. And then what most likely will happen is a retail team will go ahead and convert your account into a new one and establish a brand new account for you. But hopefully that won't be the case. It's just your card perhaps getting compromised. If it's only your card, then we can easily go ahead and overnight you a new card if you live outside of the DC area, or if you're in DC, then you can come to any of our 4 locations.
So I think it was just locking the feature, like using the lock. Does it affect automatic payments or withdrawals? Like,
Yeah, so in terms of the payments and the activity that goes on, so like ACH transfers, automatic withdrawals or bill paying, things like that, they will continue to run as normal. So there will be no issue. It's the locking. It's only for your debit card or credit card in that case.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think we're down to the last two. So if you have frozen your credit card, can you obtain your credit report? And is it necessary to obtain your credit report in this case if you have to freeze your credit card?
Um, so let me just make sure I'm understanding the question. So if you freeze your credit, can you still if you freeze your credit, can you still obtain your credit report? Is that
If
the
you
question?
have frozen credit, can
Uh-huh.
you obtain your credit report?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. So again, as I stated early, whenever you freeze your credit, everything continues to run as normal in the background. So whether you're building credit, um, were there any updates that happen if you close an account, or you are late, or anything that goes into your credit report, that will continue to run as normal. So that will have no implications, including getting a copy of your credit. So reviewing your credit, you will be able to see everything, all the history and all of that will continue to work as normal. So there will be no impact whatsoever on that side.
Awesome. Last one. How often do you need to freeze your credit? Is it once and done with Experian and Equifax and TransUnion?
That's another great question, and I love it. And yes, you answer your question yourself. It is one and done. Once you place a freeze, the freeze is permanent. Unless you go in and manually lift it, then you will have to go back and place it again. But if you just do a temporary lift, after that date that they've set, the date that you set in there, once you expire that particular date that you set it for, then you're good to go. That freeze goes back in place and it's permanent. So it's just one and done. So if you never had to get into your credit, then you will never have to go back into any of those three credit bureaus. But keep in mind that you have to do it with all the three credit bureaus. So it has to be with Experian, it has to be with TransUnion and Equifax. So you have to do it with all the three of them. And same thing if you need to freeze it or do a temporary lift.
Okay. I'm in the chat here. It says the CD question was answered. Miss Yates, do you mind asking again what question was that referring to the CD? Was it whether it was putting cash into the CD was safer, I believe,
Yeah,
to put
is
into
a
your
CD
CD?
is a CD safer from cash to be stolen? And then the ID, changing your ID password or the ID, if we could elaborate a little more. But Mr. Stan is on the call, and I know he's perfect for speaking to both of those, and Mohammed could add. But really quick, there was a question about what a port out is when it comes to phone security. And I believe that just means transferring your number and your carrier from one carrier to another, so transferring service, bringing your phone number along with it. Okay, sorry.
That's correct. Yep.
Got one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you, Carrie.
so Mr. Stan, I guess we're gonna have him come off mute.
And
And
Mohammed
Mr.
would, if
Stan,
you would like to.
I don't know if you're
Hey,
able to get some clarification on this.
Yeah, Mr. Stan, we can hear you.
okay, great. Okay, well, Milton and the rest of the team, you guys always do an awesome job. And I always learn things too. And I always make sure my son's watching it, even though he probably says, I know all this, I know this. Everybody can say we know this, but truly there's always things that we get from each meeting, which I find helpful because we can all create a laundry list of all the things that went over tonight, but it's the procrastination that we go through or just finding the time to do it is what takes time. And if you kind of get yourself on a checklist, you'll get through them all. They just take time. And you always have to think outside the box. That's kind of how I go through it. Again, Milton, thank you for covering a lot of things because I know there's some things that I haven't done, like the IRS PIN. I've been procrastinating. I got to get it done. I'm going to do that this before the next one. Social Security, like you were saying before, the new way procedure to get it set up and everything, because you go through your old way with Social Security, you just use a password. Now they're going through different technologies, which I think are much more improved. The only thing that I found was a little challenging is a lot of these sites now, like ID Me, has an AI bot, and the AI bot can drive you crazy because you give it questions and it sometimes can't handle it. So it takes perseverance, but I finally got through that whole thing. So just know that every now and then we're all going to run into those kind of challenges and we don't always know where to go, but perseverance, eventually you'll get through it. I think the other thing too is you mentioned about password managers. Yes, very, very important. Like I mentioned before, there are some free ones out there. Bitwarden and 1Password are free. They may not give you all the bells and whistles, but they do work. If you're a person like me who's on a computer all the time, different computers, I take advantage of Password Manager where sometimes I use Chrome extensions where it allow me to use my passwords across multiple machines. As long as I know the password, I can get in and do other things. So don't feel you're limited to one computer, but obviously limited to just what you need to use. So keep that in the back of your mind. The authentication things that you were talking about, excellent point there too, Milton. more and more, if you have like Gmail addresses, everything's getting more and more complicated when you get signed out and things like that. But they're all meant to help protect you. So I use the Google Authenticator, which keeps coming up with 6 new digits every 30 seconds or 20 seconds. In fact, I use the Google Authenticator for a lot of things, my security system. There's so many things now you can scan in that really protect other people getting in, because if they don't know your 6-digit code, which changes every 30 seconds, they're not going to be able to log on. So get familiar with that. I know it's a lot to pick up, but just throwing a little sense there. SIM cards, like you talked a little earlier about SIM cards. You mentioned also more and more becoming eSIMs. So there's no physical SIMs. But just so everybody knows, if you're with T-Mobile, I've been with T-Mobile for 6 years, they offer the free SIM lock protection. You can do it on yourself on the mobile app or website, or you can actually call into a customer service rep. They will help set it up free for you. The reason you want that SIM protection is so nobody takes your phone number out of your name and steals it to someone else. Because think about it, everything nowadays requires your phone number and your device, the IME number, all that has to stay together. So make it a high priority to lock down your SIM no matter what. I can't stress that enough. And like I said, some of them are free, some of them you have to do a little work at it. As far as like the spam calls you were talking a lot about, just from personal experience, I was with Verizon for 10 years. I kept getting spam calls, nothing to do not block registry anymore. The minute I went to T-Mobile, again, I might sound like an advocate for T-Mobile, the spam calls dropped literally by almost 75%. I'm lucky to get 2 or 3 calls a week. I use the spam free filter they offer. It works great. I tried the one that costs $5 a month. They told me it's probably not going to make any difference, and it didn't make any difference. So you don't even need to pay for these services. Verizon does offer it, but it wasn't really that good. And when I paid for it during the time period I had it, it still didn't work that good. But again, I might be biased because I'm on T-Mobile. What else here real quickly? And again, also make sure too that you have a backup email recovery, because if your email is used for a lot of personal stuff, always go in and authenticate. When they ask you, check your backup, like a backup phone number, maybe it could be your wife, a backup email, because once you lose that email address, if it's tied to so many things, it becomes a pain to start setting things up. So treat your email address, the primary one, as gold, and make sure that you have backup procedures, because backups are the only way that you're going to get back onto that account. And I constantly, find that I'm signing out and I'm having to log in. So I don't mind going through it because it's for my protection only and so forth. Face ID, you guys talked a lot about that as well too. It depends on the carrier. If you're using an Apple iOS phone, what I've noticed, Apple iPhones do very well in low lighting. I have a Google Pixel last year, about 9. If the lighting's poor, you got to put more light on your face. It won't do it in the dark or dusk. So just know that some Face IDs are better. One thing that I like about the Apple phone, you can lock down a lot of stuff with Face ID using applications, your photos, everything. You can make Face ID to lock everything down, even your banking application. Even though there's a Face ID, you can even lock that down so it won't even open up the app. Android phones aren't quite there yet. So there's a big plus to go between both. So I use both types of phones so I can learn which one works for me. So if you have sensitive information on your phone, like you took a picture of your driver's license or Social Security because you had uploaded to the bank, hide that photo if you still need to, or delete it. Make sure you delete it, but hide it, because Apple gives that thing. Came out a couple years ago. I really think that's a good thing to know. Some of you, if you use VPNs on your phone, that's good and bad. The VPN prevents Google from tracking you, but the problem is the VPN locks you from getting in your bank account because they don't see it as the IP address that they're supposed to see. So if you run into that problem, just remember, reset your phone, turn off the VPN before you go in your banking app. Otherwise, they're doing their job to block hackers from getting into your bank accounts. Let me see if there's anything else.
Thank
I
you
think
so
there's a lot
much.
more, but I don't want to take up too much time. I'm wasting. I feel like I'm kind of going over things, but it's just an outside of what you guys talked. I thought I'd add a few cents for my own personal.
Yeah, no, you brought a lot of great information, and it kind of like resonated with what we were talking about. But thank you so much again. That truly a lot of we appreciate your feedback as always. But truly, we love you coming in and being part, and most important, adding. We know this is your field as well, and so thank you so much, Mr. Stan. Mohammed, really quick, did you want to add a little more to the port? Looking at the port out, the question that was in there, I believe you already answered it in the chat, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so like Stan mentioned, you can lock the carriers. A lot of people have eSIMs, so they cannot port out without your permission. There's multiple steps, like you mentioned, like T-Mobile and other carriers are really good options. So you could have that as another step to securing your SIMs, and just use Authenticator and basic multiple things just to have multiple layers of authentication for any accounts you may have. That's about it, guys. Really good. Really, proud of Milton and the whole team, and also our members. Stan, you did fantastic. So it makes us really proud, security professionals, to see everybody is so aware and they take security very seriously.
No, absolutely, Mohammed. Thank you so much. And Andrea, I believe we still got a couple more questions in the Q&A, or is that it?
That's it.
Is that it?
They
There's
all
no
been
questions?
answered.
Carrie, was there something else in there?
Did the CD safer than cash?
Yeah, I messaged
Oh,
her.
perfect.
Yeah, but to answer that here on the call, I mean, absolutely, I will 100% agree. On the CD, it's a lot harder to break the CD, and especially if it's still in term. You had to provide documentation, you had to sign. I mean, there's a lot more layers when it comes to a CD or share certificate, like we call them here at the credit union in the credit union world. But yes, but absolutely, I was like, so many great questions tonight, guys. This has been amazing.
Did you see what she said about Stan can provide a webinar on his own? He shares a wealth of information.
Yeah, Mr. Tan, one of these days we're gonna have to coordinate something so Carrie can put something for you so that we can go ahead and just have you as the presenter. But thank you so much. And again, thanks to everyone that stayed with us. I know it's 25 minutes past the time, and we truly appreciate it. I know this is a topic that is it's something that anyone can relate to, and I think it's truly important that we share these tools, these tips, and what to do in the event that you have become a victim. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Our number here, it's here, 800-374-2758. You can hit option 7 and you can say my name, Jornika's name. Hey, if you want to talk to Carrie, just say Carrie's name and then you will be transferred to Carrie. Same thing for Andrea, Eddie, and Mohammed. We're always here to assist. Also, you can shoot us an email, services@usscu.org. Or if you are already a member and you want to send us a message through your online banking, you can also do so by simply logging into your online banking account. I would be remiss if I didn't remind everyone to come back and see us again next week, where we're going to talk about from planning to purchasing, making big decisions with confidence. That's what we're going to be covering next week. Next Wednesday, there's going to be another exciting webinar. So thank you all again so much. Jonica, bring us home.
All right, you guys, thank you again. And thank you to our amazing presenter, Milton, again, and Mohammed for all the amazing answers. And Stan, thank you for jumping in. It was a pleasure assisting everyone today. I hope we were able to take care of everyone. We shall see you all next week. You guys have a great evening. Thank you again, and good night.